Support for WMNF comes from listeners like you and Life Nation, presenting Bassem Youssef live on October 16 at the Tamba Theater. Often called the Egyptian Jon Stewart, Youssef is known worldwide for his sharp political satire and storytelling. More information at tambatheater.org.
No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I am one of your hosts. My co-host Maria is joining me by Zoom. How are you, Maria?
I'm great, Liz. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I'd like to talk about happy things today because it's all gloom and doom. Although I do want to mention, in case nobody has heard, that apparently NBC News reports that the Trump's inner circle is like editing together videos of the strikes in Iran and is only showing him like the big boom boom, you know.
Like he's four.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not even telling him who's boom booming who.
Right. And so it's like he's up there thinking that, you know, yes, America's winning. No. But this is the same thing that went on in the Biden White House. If you read the book that came out, the inner circle are the people who are running things, and the president has no clue. So it's like, why even have if we're going to, you know, rule by committee, let's elect the committee instead of just one person. But I was surprised, but not shocked because it's.
Well, I mean, even on his best day, he cannot handle criticism.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he can't handle the truth. Everything has to be. That's why he's always like fake news this and fake news that and all this other stuff. He can't handle reality.
Right.
Right? He's so deep in his narcissism that he can't handle defeat, failure, and criticism. So they're never going to tell him.
Right.
That, because, you know, they'd be fired like Kristi Noem. I mean, come on.
Sure. Yeah, because Kristi Noem, you
and
know,
they won't be reassigned.
misspoke for 1 second, bam, she's gone. Not to mention all the horrible things that she did while she was in charge. And now we got some dude, Mark Wayne up there. It's like, what are you looking to do? And now we have ICE in airports. Like we didn't have enough problems. ICE in airports. And if you look at the photographs from inside out, people are going around and photographing the ICE agents because they don't have their masks on inside the airport. So that, I mean, but they're not.
But you know what? What are they doing except standing around drinking Dunkin' Donuts?
That's pretty much.
It's not like they're helping.
No, they're not.
Paid TSA agents.
Right. So you got paid ICE agents with unpaid.
Standing around literally doing nothing.
Not a thing.
And they're getting paid.
Yeah.
While the people who are actually doing their job
Yes.
and showing up
Yes.
are not.
And they are, and
It's
by
almost like an in-your-face moment.
Yes.
Right? Like I don't know what more Americans need to do or experience to be fully outraged. I just don't know.
I'm just astonished that the full outrage hasn't come yet. I mean, God, what do we have to do? Let's see. You're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. You can give us a call at 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the way that they are spinning this government shutdown. They keep, like Mike Johnson released this ridiculous statement about how, Democrats don't want, you to prosper, and Democrats this and Democrats that, is all their fault. They don't want you to be safe. They want you to be, and the voice I'm using is probably deeper than Mike Johnson's actual voice, but but it's like, okay, wait. You guys are the ones that are holding things up, but they are just spinning it and spinning it and spinning it.
But does anyone believe them anymore?
I don't think so, because if you go and look at their announcements, overwhelmingly it's got laugh reacts rather than thumbs up or hearts or whatever. So I don't think that people do believe them. And then when the MAGAs come on to the threads and start talking, they get laughed out too. So it's like, what is it going to take for you guys to see the light? I don't think it's possible for them to see the light.
And their poll numbers continue to plummet.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll take it.
But yeah, look at the recent election results. We had some little results, and
I'm gonna yes. Big shout out to our little engine that could over here and supporting Emily Gregory. So, I don't want any of our usual callers to think that we don't support Democrats because we're there from the very beginning. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And let's see what else. There was the guy in Hillsborough that won.
Brian Nathan.
Brian Nathan. Thank you. Yes. So let's see. Jack in Dover is on the line early this morning. Let's see what he has to say. Hi, Jack.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Girls, I just wanted to call in and see if I could light your fuse this morning. Most of the time I agree with you, and I'm probably going to agree with you on this. I'm hoping that you have some information, some insider information, because you always know everything about a lot of topics. But in listening to about how they're trying to suppress voters and take away our rights as Americans, one of the things that just got mentioned during the conversation was something about the Epstein and rape victims, and that there is a law now in Texas where if a person rapes somebody, they can get custody of the child after the child's born. And I know that this is going to set you off, but I just had to mention it.
Yes, I heard that, Jack, and I am absolutely outraged. It's like, wait a minute. You have to have the baby because you can't have an abortion because it's illegal. And then you have to let your rapist have shared custody. Ugh.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
It really is. But,
And then
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I wanted to switch topics, but then on Palestine, you know what? If I could pray to God and have God answer this one prayer, it would be for the churches, like the Pope and all of the churches, to get together and talk to the people in Palestine that are supposed to be now in control and say, hey, let us buy. It's 27 miles long. Let us buy Palestine from you. Give us control of it so that it becomes our property. And then convince those people that they would be better off just coming and being with us, live in our homes, We'll take care of you. We won't allow anybody to hurt you ever again. And then just leave that property vacant and just to show the world for eternity how horrific the world became right now in 2026. Children should never, ever, ever be affected in a war campaign. And if you can't do what you're trying to do militarily without killing civilians and children, then you need to find another way to do it.
All right. Well, that's an interesting thought, Jack.
This morning.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think we could more than afford it. Honestly, I think we could buy 27 miles of desert. How much could it be worth?
All right. Well, we're going to see what Maria has to say about that, Jack. So thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Why are you even asking me? It's so not fair. I'm not sufficiently caffeinated. Yeah, no. That's all I can say.
I think, well, here are my thoughts. I think buying Palestine is just as bad as invading it. I mean, the people who live there, that's their home.
I'm trying to, with the exception of the religious bend to it, I'm trying to understand what's the difference between that and what Jared Kushner and his investors are trying to do.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's a form of noblesse oblige that is sort of it sort of stands in the way of self-determination and agency that people should have an inherent right to, right?
Right.
And I'm having a difficult time with like wrapping my mind around that. Like I already see the red flags.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I know that Jack's heart is in the right place, but I don't think that is a solution to any of the problems. But
I mean, people honestly just want to be free.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Without, a daddy state, an apartheid state, a military state. People just want to be free.
Yes. Okay, I have an email here from Gonzo in Brandon. No matter how many times Republicans say they won and are making demands to surrender, Iran will never agree to any terms. Never. This will not end until the Europeans make Trump stop or he is impeached. He's looking not too healthy these days.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I saw a picture of him and it's like,
exactly.
Dude.
I'm waiting for the ultimate breaking news. However, I just, I think that people need to start making an effort to examine or explore different news outlets, right? Like, and there are, and the foreign minister of Iran had a press conference the other day in Istanbul. And it's very interesting. He's like, they're not talking to us, number one. And number two, why should we trust them? The last time we were in negotiations with them, they bombed us right in the middle of it. So they have no credibility with us to have a negotiation. So having the Europeans step in and say, hey, quote unquote, stop is not going to, we have not shown ourselves or demonstrated to the world that we can bargain in good faith, period.
Right.
So why would anybody believe us at this point?
Yeah.
I feel like this attack, if you will, by Iran is not going to succeed with bombs as much as it's going to succeed with economic destruction. And I think that their method of destroying the United States economically is very effective and is going in the long term is going to work for them.
Right. But
we need to be prepared for it as American citizens. We might not like this. We might not like what's happening, but the grifter in chief is going to be okay.
Yeah.
We've got to figure out how we are going to be okay.
How do we come back from this? Because we are the ones who are going to be paying the price. Trump is never going to get held to consequences, okay? Anybody who's looking for accountability from Trump, I got news for you. It's never going to happen. He's not going to be Mussolini hanging upside down in Italy. I mean, it's just not going to happen that way. He will either pass peacefully in his sleep, or he will escape to some country or other planet, because since he's friends with all these oligarchs, he will escape and will suffer no consequences for his actions. Meanwhile, he's stuffing his pockets with billions and billions and billions of dollars from all quarters. And it's like, what in the world? You know, why are y'all still supporting him? You know, and Iran was not doing anything to warrant getting bombed without congressional approval. So, yeah. Let's see. Melinda in St. Petersburg is on the phone. Hi, Melinda.
Hi there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I wanted to pose a question / comment about identification, IDs, documentation, you know, that whole thing. And everyone likes to blame whatever current administration or the previous administration, you know. How did this immigration thing get so out of control, and who's really legal and who isn't? And I was working in a Mexican restaurant about 10 years ago up in Maine, which is in Portland, which is a sanctuary city. And we had a lot of, we only had one Mexican, but we had people from El Salvador and a lot of countries that worked there. And long story short, one day, one of the guys got in trouble because he was walking on a highway to work because he didn't have a car, and that's illegal. And all the Spanish speakers disappeared from work for like 2 weeks. And I was friendly with the, you know, general manager and stuff. And I said, what's the deal? Like, are they all illegal? And they said, Melinda, they give us the proper documentation that we're required, you know, for them to get a job here. And we don't know. Like, as far as we're concerned, for what they gave us, they're legit, and we hire them, and that's all we know. So when did this breakdown happen? Like, apparently, some of them are buying, you know, I don't know, Social Security numbers, documents. They're paying somebody to get...
So what is your question about? Is your question about illegal immigration, or is your question about identification and hiring people who are immigrants? What exactly is your question about?
My question is, when did this breakdown all happen? Like, I have a feeling other countries handle all this much better.
What is the breakdown of which you speak? I mean, that's what I'm not getting.
Who's responsible for letting, like, something falling through the cracks, and there's no checks and balances on these people?
So,
like, why?
So there's different... So if you're talking about immigration, there are different ways in which we hire people who are immigrants into this country, right? There is a certain visa that you can get to work at Mar-a-Lago seasonally. There is a seasonal there's a seasonal immigration document that you can get to work at Mar-a-Lago. And Mar-a-Lago has their certain, and that also happens for the agricultural industry and other different, there are different types of visas for different types of employment. The reality of it is this: whether you are here with a documented status or not. If you are not, it is a misdemeanor. It is not a felony offense. That's number one. Number two, oftentimes people who see one person harassed don't want to be harassed themselves. It doesn't mean that they are not documented. It doesn't mean that they don't have the right paperwork. It means that for $7.25 an hour and I can barely eke out an existence, it is not worth the harassment.
Right.
Right.
And until things cool down, I don't need to go to that job. I can go over here and be a landscaper and not be harassed every day. I can do this and not be harassed every day. The reality of it is this: we could have fixed this situation a long time ago. There was by the most conservative U.S. senator in the United States Senate, Senator Langford from Oklahoma, drafted a bill and put the bill on the floor and got bipartisan support for it back when Biden was in office. This president made one phone call and said, don't you dare, because if you fix the immigration problem, I've got nothing to run on. And so there is now a problem because they wanted to have a problem. There was never a problem. And that what they are doing is separating families. What they are doing is deporting people without due process. And what they are doing is actually murdering U.S. citizens in cold blood like they did in Minneapolis.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks so much for calling.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. Janet in Tampa. Hi, Janet.
Yes, yes. I'm going to piggyback on something that they were just talking about. I've worked with the Hispanic community for decades, and they're very hardworking. You know, the majority are great people. So I don't have an issue with undocumented workers or, trying to make a living or anything like that, or their freedoms. They're not, they're not getting treated properly, lawfully. But the reason I first called was because I am just tired, and I want to maybe get some confirmation on this. I'm tired of people saying, well, Trump, first of all, our friends don't want to help us, our allies don't want to help us, they can go to where, and blah, 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 and what's NATO for, and da-da-da-da-da. And what I understand is that the NATO countries are prohibited from aiding another NATO country that is attacking.
Right, because NATO is built on defense, not on aggression.
And I wish that could be repeated over and over, because I'm just tired of, these people that come on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, the radio. Oh, Spain is full of crap because, they're not our friends anymore. They don't help us. And all these other countries, they just don't help us. We just got, and they don't know the law.
Right.
So I just wish that could be more broadcast, that information more, because people are under the impression that now all these countries hate us, which they basically do. But that's not the reason they're not aiding us. They're,
Right, you can hate us and still be law-abiding if you choose to.
Right, yeah. But I back to the thing about, and also when I worked with the Hispanic community in my community, and I was a teacher as well, I worked with many domestic violence situations, and the women had no recourse. The undocumented women, because if they called for any kind of aid to the police or maybe to be taken to the spring or something like that, no, they couldn't do it, because then they would be deported or go to jail or whatever. And I wrote letters to my senators and representatives stuff just to say, this is not right. They're afraid, just like they're afraid to go in and do their proper paperwork for asylum. They're afraid to do the right thing.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway, I appreciate the show. I love WMNF. I'm an old lady. I'm 73 years old, and I've been listening to y'all since you started.
Well, thank you so much, Janet.
Yes. Okay. All right. Keep it on. Keep trucking. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Let's talk to Steve in Largo is next. Hey, Steve.
Hey, great show as always.
Thank you.
Just wanted to not go off topic, but I networked this with people that I said to them, this is the Sunday Forum crew, I said to them, if you, your crew, and the crew from Surly Voices created a progressive The View show, I think it would go absolutely viral, go on major networks. Whoopi would probably try and come on and be part of the team. So think, you guys are both really your two shows, Sunday Forum and your show, and Mabili's solo show on Monday, are the feistiest, most, truth-spitting shows that WMNF has. Some of the other ones are a bit too vanilla and mediocre, weak for me. Thank you for what you're doing. Not trying to be off topic, but I told the same thing to Sunday Forum. In Clearwater, the Church of Scientology is trying to buy the historic black district that was in Clearwater when segregation had a color line in Clearwater that was a street. On the west side, all the African Americans lived. On the other side, the Caucasians lived. On the west side, the African American community, based on Garden Avenue, was thriving, just like that community in Oklahoma 80 or 100 years ago that was destroyed. Now, the Church of Scientology, and with collusion of the city council and the county commissioners, want to allow this so-called church to buy a public road and otherwise decimate this historic African-American district. There's an incredible coalition, which you rarely see in Clearwater, of any activism at all. It's called Save the Garden, and they are a role model for community engagement and activism in a town where the pushback against the cult has been weak, if not just gone. These folks have collected 8,000 signatures and stopped the city council and the county commission for giving Scientology everything it wanted. So for those that want to preserve African American history, as well as the rule of law and not selling off, public streets to private tax-exempt organizations, Save the Garden is wonderful to network with. And again, thank you for everything. We both know that the movie One Battle After Another is more like a documentary, and I don't want to be Sean Penn.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling, Steve.
Thank you.
One Battle After Another, I did not think should have won the Academy Award. Of course, I don't have a vote, but it was, to me, and I know.
I didn't see it, so I
okay.
can't comment.
Well, this is what I thought. It tried to be Quentin Tarantino for a while, and then when it finally started making sense, it was like, okay. The most interesting thing about it was that Leonardo DiCaprio was playing a father to a daughter who was actually the age of the girls he usually dates. So that's what I thought of when I saw it. But no, I thought Sinners was way better. And, well, I kind of identified with it because it talked about things from where I grew up and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's just my opinion. My opinion and my opinion alone. All right, let's see. Chris in Clearwater. Hi, Chris.
Hi, good morning, ladies. SaveTheGarden.org is the website. Steve didn't put me up to this, but I just wanted to mention it since I'm just within walking distance of that section that Scientology wants to buy from the city. And I think maybe it's because they don't want protesters there, perhaps. But anyway, SaveTheGarden.org is the website to learn more about that. What I called was I called about the legal vulnerability of the Trump administration here that you mentioned, not following the Constitution. I recommend folks check out a Substack called modminarchist.substack.com. It stands for Modern Minarchy, so that's modminarchist.substack.com on There's no clear present danger for Trump to be able to justify repelling an invasion. And I like to make the point, I think the underlying point is that Congress cannot delegate its authority to the president or any other body without a constitutional amendment that's required to change the Constitution. You can't just pass a federal law, which, the War Powers Act of 1973 is being used as a lame excuse for so many conflicts, so many wars. And, that also makes the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 unconstitutional. The Administrative Procedures Act of 1948 is unconstitutional, where the Congress delegates its authority to so many of the administrative agencies without, that don't have to observe due process. And also, I want to point out Netanyahu still is a Likudnik, meaning the party is always, as part of its platform, called for is the greater Israel from the river to the sea. He was just speaking before the UN September 22nd, 2023, holding up a map showing Israel stretching from the river to the sea. And we can actually legally cease funding and arming Israel, and I think we should demand a refund of our foreign and military aid because they are a nuclear power. And the 1976 Symington Amendment to the 1961 Foreign Appropriations Act and the Glenn Act forbids the U.S. government from giving financial aid to any nation with nuclear weapons technology that has not signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and allow IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, to inspect. And, they are actually recognized by our government as a nuclear power. If you look at page 37 of the...
Okay, whoa, Chris, whoa. We're getting way far afield. So can you wrap it up and give us a synopsis really quickly?
Yeah, there are many data points I'll just email you, but the main one here is page 37 of the Joint Operating Environment issued by the U.S. Joint Forces Command in 2008, signed by J.N. Mattis, General U.S. Marine Corps. It says, in effect, there is a growing arc of nuclear powers running from Israel in the west through emerging Iran to Pakistan, India, and to China, North Korea, and Russia in the east. So when I bring this up, I find a lot of folks say, oh, that's I've seen one person say that's hypothetical, or why are you exposing Israel? I point out, well, all things that are hidden shall be brought out.
Okay. Your time's up, Chris. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but I've let you go on longer than we're supposed to. So email us the stuff and we'll have a look at it, okay?
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. There's an email I want to read. It's killing me. I want to read it so badly. Okay. The title is Closing Today's Show, and it says, there has to be another way to mention it's time to close out the show, which we all know is at 11 a.m., without saying you're being given the finger by the man running the board. What finger? Surly is one thing, crass is another. And this is from Pamela. Well, Pamela, number one, social niceties are a tool of the patriarchy. Number two, I run the board. Frank actually mans the phones. And so when we say it's a playful way of winding down the show, everybody knows it's playful. We're not here to be...
Nobody said he's flipping you the bird.
Right. Because actually he holds up his index finger. And
that's
so,
in my mind, it was always like wrap it up, which is sort of like the index finger.
Yes, exactly. And it's a way to give Frank a shout out because, I mean, he works really hard to help with the show and answer the phones and get things set up. And yeah, so I think it's the perfect way to end the show. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but there we are. Let's see. We have Irene sending us, she says, remember, Joseph Goebbels said, if you tell a lie long enough and often enough, it will be believed. I am paraphrasing. One can look up the quote. Thanks, Irene. Thank you, Irene. So let's talk about something fun, please. Let's talk.
Yes.
Is your fun the same as my fun, Maria? Or do you have more fun?
I don't know.
I want to talk about Afro Man.
Oh my God.
Afro Man, whose real name is Joseph Edgar Foreman, is a rapper and a singer. And there was a song a while back.
Because I got high.
Because I got high. That was his one-hit wonder until the police in his town came and raided his house on a sketchy warrant looking for evidence of drug trafficking and kidnapping. And so Afro Man has surveillance cameras in his house. I have them too. I use them to look at my cats when I'm gone. But so the surveillance cameras caught everything that the cops were doing. And so Afro Man took that footage and made all kinds of diss tracks. And diss tracks are like, how do I say that to lay people? Let's see, diss tracks, it's tracks meant to insult folks. How's that? One of them was lemon pound cake, because his grandmother had made him some lemon pound cake. It was sitting on the counter under a cake cover. And one of the cops comes in and he's, almost salivating over it. So he made that rap. And it's not like hard rap. It's just funny. It's very funny. He sings more than he raps. And he's got several. If you go to YouTube and put in Afro Man arrest, it will have tons of videos. So the cops got mad and sued him for defamation because he ruined their reputation. He gave them distress and all this kind of stuff. And so the case went to trial last week or a week before. And they actually played all the videos in the courtroom. And the jury found that they found in favor of Afro Man and said, no, this is parody, this is satire. And so now he's a champion for First Amendment rights. So what do you want to add, Maria?
I don't know. I think everybody should go and watch his YouTube videos of his trial, his depositions, and his music parodies. I think they're hilarious. Mm-hmm. But you know what? The thing about it is, I think that everybody, I feel like this is the thing that we missed in Black Lives Matter, to a point where mockery
yes,
and ridicule has a purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Like we should have used this a lot more and we should continue going forward to use it. Right?
Yeah.
Not just protest, but ridicule and mockery. I think is one of the arrows in the quiver. I'll put it that way.
Right. Welcome.
We should use a lot more. Hey, Donna.
Welcome to Donna Davis. How are you, Donna?
I'm just trying to survive.
Oh Lord, you sound bad.
I know. I got this. Missouri, St. Louis has some of the worst air quality in the United States. And I have sinuses that like to play too much. So they don't go together. They're not going together well.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right, though, but I'm still turning up out here in this piece.
Yes, ma'am. So tell us what you think about Afro Man.
I think that it's time to start having some victories.
Yes.
Against people. I appreciated, what Maria was saying about, mockery and humiliation. I also agree that it is very important to win legally over these people. That's the problem that I have with some of the work that's being done in that area, is that it doesn't go far enough, right?
Right.
And maybe there's separate groups of people, like the artists are doing that work, and then the rest of us need to do other work. It got weird, as you can see the people in Texas chose, when the people who are supposed to be doing the legal work are also doing the mocking and humiliating. That can only get us so far. And at a certain point, people say, okay, well, you stay in that role, in the scrapping role, and then we'll find someone who leads all of the people to be in another role. So I think Afro Man is doing exactly what he should be doing. And our Congress people should be leading and winning.
Right. And it's like, it felt like a huge win after being beat down for a year and a half or more. Yeah. It just felt like, oh my gosh, look at this. This man prevailed. And why can't we have that? Why can't, somebody, kneecap Chuck Schumer and take his place, like Game of Thrones?
I just want to add to what Donna said, though. Yes, Congress. But you know who else needs to be mocked and ridiculed? Our state legislature.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Because, so I went to the watch party for Emily Gregory on Tuesday, and all of these people, these state legislators who, number one, they don't want to work to expand the franchise and get more Democrats elected. They just want to preserve their seat. But they all showed up, right? And one of them said to me, Maria, why are you always giving me a hard time? I said, it's because you're not doing your job. I don't want you. No one sent you to Tallahassee to agree with Republicans on censorship and prayer in public schools. We sent you there for relief.
Yes.
For relief around health care, relief around our homeowners insurance, and all of those things. And if you're not willing to stand up and fight, but you're willing to acquiesce to these people, you don't need to be there.
Right.
It's really that simple. Right? And you're not using this as an opportunity in your super minority to profess what our values are, because you don't have power. At least use your platform to express those values, and maybe things will change.
Right. All right, let's see. Jason in Tampa is on the phone. Hi, Jason.
Yes, ma'am. First-time caller.
Oh.
I've listened to this station a fairly long time. I'm actually carrying the tradition of my late father, who passed away 4 years ago. He always used to listen to this station a lot. And I first wanted to comment about the lemon cake. I couldn't help but die laughing when I heard it. About the Afro Man. I'm still in stitches over here. I wonder if I should just pull that prank for someone the next time I'm about to be arrested or something like that. But actually, on a bit of a more serious note, I was thinking a bit more interior type. I see Trump decides to get rid of the Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and I almost wonder if the Americans with Disabilities Act is not far from being repealed.
Of course not. Yeah,
it's already been attacked.
Yeah,
in a lot of legislation, because you've got these 12-year-olds that were hired by Elon Musk, making those decisions on what looks like diversity, equity, and inclusion in their algorithms, as opposed to what the law actually says, and the input of subject matter experts. It's already been attacked.
The reason I ask that is because I grew up, my entire education in Hillsborough County Public Schools was entirely in Braille. Nothing was on the computer. Everything was entirely Braille, all textbooks or handouts, which means teachers had to give another teacher a copy of their assignments to be brailled for me to read. And now those days are basically over. I graduated on Tuesday, June 3rd, 1997. So I'm a proud 47-year-old man born Friday, June 30th, 1978. Yay.
Awesome. Well, Jason, yeah, it's going to be a tough road, I'm afraid, because the thing is they sometimes go very quickly about getting rid of things, and sometimes they eke it out like the frog boiling on the stove. So yeah,
right. I see. I totally get the gist of what's happening here, and for me being totally blind since birth, that's going to impact other people too, not just me.
Right. Well, thank you so much for calling, Jason. Please keep listening. And I know your dad's up in heaven looking at you being proud for being a WMNF supporter.
Yes, ma'am, and definitely keep those lemon pound cakes coming.
Thank you so much.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So we have a few one last minute folks calling in. So, yeah, we need to get some kind of movement going there were rumors that talks were being had to get rid of Chuck Schumer. I don't know how far that's gone. Donna, do you know?
That won't go anywhere. I mean, these people, they think they're young, and then they prop their geriatric misguided leaders up on popsicle sticks. And so I couldn't see, they said the same thing when Nancy Pelosi, kind of was getting
right.
Yeah. Became an institution, and that was bigger than Congress. People were saying that about her, but she was allowed to, she was allowed to just relinquish her leadership seat in Congress without anyone forcing her out. And I think that Chuck Schumer will see the door on his own time as well.
Wow. See, in Great Britain, number one, they sit there and holler at each other. There's really no decorum, but they get things done. And when somebody gets out, they push them out like nobody's business.
You know what? I saw something that I hadn't thought about, but was really jumped out at me when I heard it. When you look at the treatment of the Epstein files, it tells you a story about what the impunity with which leaders in this country are allowed to function. We've already made the distinction between what the United States is doing about people who are named in the Epstein files and what's happening in other parts of the world. But a man said last night, y'all, white men are telling you who they are again, and you're still not listening.
Yes.
And he said, remember when the mere suggestion that a black man had looked at a white woman caused them to burn down an entire town. And yet here you have all these hundreds of people who've hurt probably thousands of children, and nothing is being done because it's them.
Yeah.
It's really gotten to be just how far do you go to protect pedophiles? Mm-hmm. So far we've looked at every distraction in the world, including starting a war that we had no business starting and no approval from Congress to start. And what more can you do to distract from the Epstein files? Because,
But you've got there's a common denominator between the origin story of the Epstein files and why we invaded Iran, right? Mm-hmm. They have a similar intersection. It's not like they are mutually exclusive. It's not like we started this absent what is actually in the Epstein files.
Right.
Right? There is a very similar origin story there. Like BB found his sucker
mm-hmm.
and forced them to bomb Iran.
Right.
right? And they both have a very common origin story.
Yeah. Let's see. I have an email that says, have you heard the parody song Afro Man did about Hunter Biden? I have not. I'm assuming that this is not a genuine question, but even if it were, who cares? Do you think that anybody in this room is a Hunter Biden fan? Let me answer that. No. Some of us, including me, can't stand Joe Biden. So why would we care about Hunter Biden? But I'm going to look for it. And if it's there, I will listen to it. But I don't think it's there. I think this is our friends from Pinellas County trying to stir up trouble. Anyway. Okay. So the villain origin story. How do we use our knowledge of villain origin stories to dismantle the systems that they have set up?
Well, I think that we talk about how these systems remain in place, and I'm going to do this very quickly. How these systems remain in place, I've thought about it a lot this week. There have been a couple situations that caused me to think about it. But what about Sarah Netanyahu sliding into the DMs of Iran mid-conflict, right? While the missiles are flying.
Yeah.
And there's a first lady writing to you, like writing a breakup letter to you. Okay. Why are we doing statecraft on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
It's like Sarah got three glasses in and she was like, I'll get them told. And we must talk about, even though this is international, we must talk about the role, right? Because you're asking, how is this stuff staying in place? Talk about the role that white women play in indemnifying white supremacy and manifest destiny.
Yes.
And when people like Mary call us, it's outside of the context of this, right? And there's something here. Benjamin Netanyahu has been directly appealing to the Iranians to rise up against their oppressors for years, right? Mm-hmm. But now we just expanded the cast. And I don't know. I don't get how this happens everywhere. It happened here in the United States. They all dyed their hair blonde, put on Ruby Woo from Mac, ran out into the streets and said, Trump is our guy. Mm-hmm. No reproductive rights. You don't get any reproductive rights. And if these guys had their way, these trad wives wouldn't even have access to their own bank accounts.
Right. I saw this meme going around that says, if women stayed home, men would have more jobs. It's like men would have more jobs, women could have more babies. And I'm like, who is putting out this trash? And I understand it's recycled from many times in the past. And it's like, who wants that? Well,
if it were just white men in 2026, we couldn't get it done. Mm-hmm. But you got to have your Pamela Bondis. And I'm not blaming the women for what men are doing. I'm just saying that, that Kevin, the comedian, said the other day, who is keeping the Filet-O-Fish on the menu at McDonald's? Someone's buying it. Why is it still there? It's a fish sandwich. It's not even with cheese on. Okay,
so you got to have something to eat on Fridays during Lent. You
got to have fans to survive. There you go. Thank you very much.
Why are we still having Filet-O-Fish? Let's see. There's a text message that says, I'm just wondering if his house got raided because of the song. No, the songs came because his house got raided. So the raid came first. This is not a chicken and an egg situation here. And it's been wild. So Frank just gave me the finger yet again. And it is time to wrap up. Please join us again next Thursday on Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5.
Dollars, I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? Bitch, I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula, I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving